Hey everyone, I hope you all are doing really good. So in my 9 years of experience in the data engineering domain, I cracked multiple product based companies including the MAANG, and I also failed in multiple product based companies. And one of the common reason of the failure in the interviews that frequently I was getting rejected in the data warehouse and modeling interview round. And any one of you who have recently appeared in the product based companies for the data engineering role, data science role, data analyst role, one thing is very sure and very common, that they will be having a dedicated interview round. It's not like just a part of any interview session, but the dedicated 45 to 60 minute of interview round, which will be focused on the data warehouse modeling design, where they will be asking you the practical problem statement and will ask you to design the optimal data model for it, all the KPIs, and then how to write the SQL queries for that, right? So it will go like that. And the main reason why we fail in it very frequently, because like me, many of you might be having the high level overview of the data warehousing and the bookish knowledge of it, like what is star schema, snowflake schema, galaxy schema, and just designing the basic you can say data model. But that is not the exact thing companies are looking in the interviews, and this video is all about that. I mean, anyone who's targeting the MAANG level of companies and you want to understand the whole process of this data warehouse modeling design round, so I will be playing a role of the interviewer, and I will be taking the interview of a candidate, right? Will be asking the proper, like the industry grade problem. In this mock interview session, you will get the entire process, how to approach a problem, how to ask the right set of the questions, how to make it more interactive, and then how to solve and make the optimal data model end to end. So make sure watch this video till the very end, and if you maybe like somehow this mock interview, let me know in the comment section. If you want the mock interview for different other interview rounds for different profiles, I will definitely bring those videos as well. And yes, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and press the notification icon so that you don't miss these kind of mock interview sessions. And a very important announcement for all the aspiring data professional who are lacking into the data warehouse modeling skills and desperately preparing for the product based companies. If you want to be master in it, if you want to learn it through the proper industry grade problems, you want to learn how to design the optimal production ready and the industry grade data models, then we have your back. We have launched the very first batch of our first online live classroom data warehouse modeling basic to advanced bootcamp, and this bootcamp will be starting from the 22nd of November. Live classes, but each live class gets recorded as well, and it will be taken on the weekends. So just you can see last 25 seats are left because it's a very limited seat cohort. So this is how it is going to be, and link has been given in the description, or you can visit www.growdataskills.com to enroll in it very fast, because as I said, just limited seats are left. And here what you are going to learn, that is the most important and interesting thing, and the thing which you can already see, it's very affordable. And on Grow Data Skills, we help in all the placement assistance part, the whole practical knowledge. For each module there will be proper dedicated quiz, assignments, their solution, interview preparation guide, doubt support after the live classes, doubt support in the private Discord group. So this is how things will move. But if you look at the curriculum, right, how in-depth it is and how practical and industry driven it is, this is how basic to advanced things will be starting. Okay, so data modeling 101, like knowing all the things related to it, including the ERD and the types of the data model. Then coming to the data warehousing part, right, so we will be using the Snowflake here as well, so the entire understanding of the Snowflake you will be getting here. Then coming on to this part, like how to do the data model in the Power BI, right, because when you create the production grade kind of data models, you design it in these kind of tools. So what to use, right, what are the different layers of it, how to design it end to end. Then creating the actual data models in the Power BI, you will be learning entirely all these things, like how to use the different kind of available tools to design and draw the proper data models. Then implementing the security features on the data models, coming to the governance and the maintenance part of the data models. And now there will be approximately 6 end-to-end projects. And when we say 6 end-to-end projects, the whole process of designing the production grade optimal data models, you will be learning the whole process. And this is one of a kind bootcamp. You will not find any specific resource over the internet to read, to learn about the data warehousing data model. So this is the exact thing you are looking for to prepare. And if you are desperately targeting for the product based companies, this is a must join bootcamp. So hurry up, don't miss this opportunity. Link is in the description. And if you have any doubt or any query you want to discuss with me directly, this is the WhatsApp number or the calling number. You can always reach out and we can discuss. All right. So, hey, hi, Sahil. How are you doing?
Hi, Shashank. Thank you. I'm doing good. How are you?
All good this side. So before getting started, just like I would like to know a bit about yourself. I mean, your area of expertise, and if you want to share something about your professional background.
Sure thing. So, yeah, my name is Sahil Chaudhary. I am from Jammu, and I have total 5+ years of experience, mostly in the data analytics and data engineering background. Currently, I'm working as an analytics and data engineering / data science manager in 𝗶𝗰H.
Mm-hmm.
Work typically involves creating business solutions for the Fortune 500 companies, be it creating dashboards, reporting solutions, or be it creating a data model for the same. So typically playing around with the BI and data engineering tools till now.
All right, that's perfect. Cool. So, how much would you like to rate yourself in, let's say, data warehousing, data modeling out of 10, if you have to rate yourself?
So Shashank, when I started my career, since then I have been using the data warehousing techniques, tools, and everything. Apart from this, I have been writing a lot of case studies, articles, and white papers on the top of it also. So I would rate myself mostly maybe 8 or 9, because again, no one can be 10 till now. So yeah,
Mhm.
I'll rate myself maybe 8 to 9.
Got it, got it. No, cool. That's good. I guess that this round is all about that. And let's get into something practical and let's try to solve it. So to get started with, let's say I'm a data leader at of interest bank, okay, and we have got 120 plus branches, and leadership basically keeps asking why are some branches growing while others are leaking money. We have all the CSVs scattered across folders in different systems, and I can't find insights as data is in different CSVs, and every time I have to create pivots, do VLOOKUPs for all the typical Excel based analysis. Okay. And I want to go from like raw files to actionable insights in a systematic way. So, what's your take on this?
Got it. So I understood the problem which you have been facing till now. The multiple files scattered all around the place. You want them to be centralized in some warehousing solution maybe, and maybe create a data model that could answer all your insights, and leadership can take decision based on top of it. But before deep diving into data modeling or data warehousing,
Mhm.
let's jump into the pain points, or maybe let's diagnose the pain point in more detail. So, Shashank, what kind of data are we talking here? Is it transactional data? Is it some maybe master data, aggregated data? Can you shed some light on that?
Well, good point to discuss. So you can say we have got all that sort of data. I mean, transactional level data plus master files of the customers, accounts, branches, and employees. But that too all in CSVs. That's the data we have.
Got it. Perfect. So, since everything is in CSVs, we will need to choose any one platform or data product, we can say as well. Choosing a platform could be based on multiple factors, like what kind of data we are talking here. Is it structured or unstructured, or maybe the scale of a data as well? Because if a
Correct.
small scale company we are working with, they won't need $1 million setup of a servers for Snowflake, right?
Mhm.
So before deep diving into the product also, are we leveraging any databases or data warehouses in the organization currently?
No, we don't have any.
Got it. And by any chance, are you guys leveraging maybe Microsoft products, maybe Word, Excel, PowerPoint in your workflows?
Yep, we are heavily using it.
Got it. So, Shashank, since the company has already been using Microsoft products and the data we are talking are in CSVs, the file-based tools, right?
Mhm.
And we don't have any database or warehouse or BI tool set up as of now. So, what I would recommend is instead of purchasing every single product one by one, maybe purchasing database first, then going to warehouse, then going to BI tool of maybe any choice. We can pick a tool which is by Microsoft, so the integration and the ecosystem will be very smoother, and that's called Microsoft Fabric. It has came recently and it has hit the market in a strong way. So if we go with the Fabric, it would be good choice for us because it's a single platform or a single umbrella under which we will get the one lake also, data lake also, data warehouse also, database also, and a BI tool also. So we will just need one tool, and let's say we will go proceed with the Fabric in this case.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, perfect. So platform choice is, let's say, made, and we'll go ahead, we'll purchase the tool. Now, before going ahead and getting started with all the questions, let me ask something. What kind of, like, what are the most pain points you have been facing in the current workflow which you are working in the organization?
Yeah, I guess that is the thing which we are looking forward to solve. So if I have to highlight few of the common pain points, so obvious one like unclean files and different definitions of the KPIs, right? It could vary time to time and inconsistent data refresh, like there is no flexible and the fixed timings of it, right? When it is going to get refreshed. Business users also want to see daily trends. So a lot of uncertainties, even in terms of the pattern, you can say here. Yes.
Makes sense. Got the pain points. By the way, can I see the data? Where is the data right now? The raw files present?
I can help you with the mock data, right, which I already have handy with me. So that might give you the bird eye view, how it looks like, and based on that, if you want to come up with some ideas, some thoughts. So let me share a link with you. I have just a moment, and from there you can have a look at
Perfect.
the mock files which I have. Just a second.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I have sent it in the chat. You can access that link and have a look.
Give me a second. I will copy this link. So what I can do is, maybe I will start sharing my screen and then we'll
Yeah.
start creating a solution for the problem here. Perfect.
Mhm.
Shashak, you'll need to accept my sharing request.
Yeah, I have allowed you.
Got it. Let me share my screen here. I will go to my browser. Can you please let me know if you can see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
Perfect. So let me go to the link which you have pasted. I will click here. Okay, this works as well. A different browser. Cool. So I can see we have a dim account, dim ACC, dim branch, dim customer, dim date, dim product, and I can see some fact transactional data is also present.
Yeah,
And as you mentioned that this is a dummy data, so I'm believing the volume of a data won't be much. What I
correct.
can do is I can copy this data in my local, and then we'll start seeing the data, analyzing the data, and hence building the solution,
Hmm.
if that works.
Yeah, makes
So
sense.
let me, perfect. Let me download this here. I will unzip this. Perfect. And by the way, Shashank, where is this data coming from? What's the grain of
So
the maybe fact?
yeah. So this is actually transactional data, which is coming from the SAP systems.
Got it. And let me open maybe accounts file, because otherwise branch customer dates looks familiar. So maybe I'll open the account. What exactly is account, by the way, here?
So this file basically contains the data of the customers.
Got it. Got it. So I can see the grain of the data is accounts, and we have mapped one to one for each account. We have a separate customer, and then we have the balance which the customer is maintaining. Okay.
Mhm.
Got it. So I will close this. And what I can do is I can start ingesting my data, because right now the data is present in local system. So maybe I'll go to my portal, which we have chosen here, Fabric, for example, and then we'll start ingesting and then creating the solution, if that works.
Yeah, sounds good.
Let me go here. I'll first log in to my Fabric account. And by the way, whichever customer is leveraging Fabric or maybe using Microsoft product, they get Fabric free of cost for first 3 months. So anyone who is watching the video also can try with their accounts also. That should not be a problem. Maybe we'll start with something called workspaces. Think of workspace as a folder. So we are creating a project. Maybe it's a fintech project. So maybe I'll write maybe a fintech GDS project. Descriptions, metadata we can avoid right now, but it's a best practice that when you create something, add the metadata so that others can also leverage the same workspace which you have created. Perfect. So this is the empty workspace. We will start ingesting our data, our files into the Fabric. Now there can be multiple ways in which we can leverage the files and ingest them into our Fabric as a product. The most popular is a data lake, right? Everyone ingests their files in a data lake. We will do the same here. So there's a thing called, if I go here, Lakehouse. Lakehouse is nothing but a fancy term. It can give us a place. It's a combination of data lake and a warehouse where it can like help us to save the files also and the tables also. And the reason we are leveraging Lakehouse is because we don't have any database setup. We don't have any data lake setup. So instead of setting them separately, we'll just set up one simple instance of a Lakehouse and then it will serve both our purposes.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, I will click here. Maybe I'll give some name. Fin Tech data lake house. I'll do this and I'll create the lake house. It will create it will take a minute or so and it will create a lake house for me. Now, as I said, lake house, we can store the files also and the tables also. Because we have files currently, what I will do is I will ingest the raw static files in my data lake here. Again, it's a straightforward, it's a SaaS tool. Fabric lets you do everything with the help of click and drops also. You can automate the stuff with the help of code also. But right now, let's say I just want to ingest the files which are present in my local system. I will click here. I can load the data from anywhere, but since we are dealing with static files, I'll upload the files from here. But if you have your data stored in pipelines, maybe some S3 blob storages, you can ingest the data from there also. Everything is a matter of click and drop here.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I will ingest all the files here. I can select override, but it doesn't matter. We don't have any file right now. And perfect. We have all the files present here. I can click just to check if the files have been loaded correctly. So account has account IDs, customer IDs, account types, open dates and balance. Seems good. Cool. We have all the files present instead of a local. We have them in the cloud, so everyone can leverage them. This will solve one of your problem that everything is centralized now. So files are not in the local system of all the employees. So if anyone wants to update, they will need to come here, and same thing will reflect in all the system of all the employees, right? Cool. So ingestion of files to one lake is done. Then we'll need to move all these files to tables. Now the reason we move things to tables is because, again, here we are dealing with sample data, but when we work in real life, we work with millions and millions of rows, right? It's always better to work with tables because, again, the type of a data type which tables are stored is like columnar storages. Plus the BI tools works very well with the columnar storage, and the tables in warehouse gives us the columnar storage compression. So it's always and always better to connect your dashboards, to connect your downstream processes to the tables instead of files. Okay. So typical pipelines revolves around taking all your files, convert them to a table, right? We call it a Mendelian architecture also, where in raw we have some simple raw data CSV files, then we transform them, we clean them, and the end state, which is called the golden layer, is always, and most probably 99% of the time, will be a tabular format.
Correct.
So let me.
So, Sahil, let's say you have already pulled this data in the Fabric, like Lakehouse, that's totally fine. For example, let's say once we have got the data, how do you like focus more on designing the model part, right? How that will go?
Right. So once we have the data here, we typically start by analyzing the data And instead of going to the physical design of a data model directly, we go with the 3-layer design, which is logical designing, and then we go to the physical design, and then we implemented the semantic layer designing, right? For example, we can see here we have, let's say, these files, right? Instead of dumping everything to maybe notebook, starting the code directly, what I will do is we'll brainstorm together that, okay, how can we build a model here, right? So let's say these are the objects here. What I can do is I can simply create, so this will be just a logical layer, means there will be no code, there will be no columns, keys, relationships, just a diagram method, just to brainstorm how the model should look like.
Okay.
Right? So for example, we have something called dim account. This will be one object or a table, we can say, in our model. Right? Same way, we will have something called dim branch. I will quickly replicate all the objects which we have.
Just to get the clarity, what kind of data model you are going to follow here? Because we have multiple design patterns for the same. So on what basis you are deciding that some XYZ pattern you are going to follow? If you can elaborate that.
Perfect question. Perfect question. So typically we can go with any type of data model. For example, we have stars also, we have snowflake also, we have galaxies also. In an ideal world situation, we always prefer to have a star schema. Here also, we will try to get started with star, but in some of the business cases and business situations, it doesn't let us to create a star, because of course there are some, like, because star has its own limitation, right? It like duplicates the data, it causes the storage issues also. Plus there will be some joining keys issue also, which we will see in this case also if it allows. So we will start with star. If it allows us to do that, we will go with that. If it doesn't, we will see what kind of data model we can build.
Okay. Okay.
So let's say we will start with the star schema. These are the tables which we have. So typically how the star works is you have all the dim table, dimension tables, and you have fact table. And then you try to link all the dims to the fact here, right? So let's say this is the fact. So this will be fact transactions. Now coming to the modeling part, we will need to link each table or a dim table to the fact table. For that, we will need some kind of joining keys, which should be common between both of them, right? Typically, if they exist in that files or tables, well and good. If they do not exist, we will need to create them, right? So what I can do is, I can simply go here and start seeing what kind of keys are present. So for example, in dim account, we have account ID. So this could be one of the primary key, and we can see also that this is defining the grain of my data.
Right.
So I can see that this ID could be used to connect to my other tables, but we don't know certainly if it's present in fact or not. I will go to branch.
The possibilities right now.
Correct. We're looking at each grain just to analyze what kind could be the key which can you help us to connect to the fact. For example, this file is having just one ID, so it makes sense. We will keep that noted somewhere. So branch table is having branch ID as a key. We will see the third file, which is customer file. This has something called customer ID. I will keep this also present somewhere here. I will go back and see the product. So product table is having product ID. Makes sense. I will go here and populate this here. And I should have dim date also. Yes, this is the one. And this has dates, day, month, date, month name, quarter, year, and weekday. So we can see there is no column named as key, but then also we can see that there is one column which is date and which is defining the granularity of the table or a file. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter that if a column with the name or a tag of ID is present or not. There could be some cases where data is not clean. Still, if you see there is a primary key present, you can use that key as a connecting key to the fact table. So let's assume that this is the key because this is defining the grain of my tables. Right. And if I see my first file, actually we had two keys present. One was account ID. I copied that and I will keep this also here. So we have customer ID. Now coming to the fact, the main table which will be used to connect everything else. So it has transaction ID, account ID, branch ID, it has product ID also. So what I can do is I can copy these things here. These will be present. And we have date also, which was our primary key in the date table. So I will paste that here. and we have something called product ID also. So I will go here and paste it here. Perfect. So we have all the keys present. Let's see if we can link everything together or not.
Okay.
So product ID is present in the fact, so that could be used. So maybe I will leverage this as here. Date is present. This could be used. Just a second. Date could be used to connect my dim date to my fact table. So I can leverage this. This could be used here. Customer IDs are missing. Okay. Cool. So let me confirm if the fact table is having customer IDs, transaction, account, branch, date, transaction type, amount, IDs. Cool. So Shashank, we can see customer IDs are missing in fact.
Right.
That signifies that I will not be able to connect my dim customer to fact. So I won't be able to achieve the star here. Right. That signifies that customer will be connected to some other table. So for example, if I pull this out from this position because can't connect this here, let me sort other tables and then we can see where we can connect the dim customer also.
Okay.
So dim branch, we have the branch IDs. I can leverage this as a column. So I will very quickly do this. And I have account ID also. I will copy this and this will be used to connect my dim account to my fact. And we have transactional ID, which makes sense, which could be the base or primary key for my fact table. I will keep it here. Now our one table is floating, disconnected, right? So it's not connected to any table. So if I have to connect this to other table, when I was seeing or we were seeing the table, which is dim account file, we saw that this file is having customer IDs, right?
Okay.
Which signifies that how business is working is not every customer is tagged to the transaction directly. Customers are tagged to dim accounts. That's why we have customer IDs present both in both the files, right? So what I can do is I can connect my dim customer to my dim account. And since dim account and fact has transaction IDs, so account ID, so these two can be connected based on account IDs, right?
So here, let's say now, I mean, the pattern of star is breaking here. So what model
Right.
or what pattern now it has become?
Right. So since it's a dim is connected to other dim, not all the dims are connected to the fact. We call it as a snowflake schema because it looks like a logo of snowflake where one fact, multiple dim, then multiple dims.
Got it. Yep. Okay, sounds good.
All right, so this will be the structure or the data model schema which we will be preparing, and most probably we work in real life also like this only. We try to make star, but if it doesn't allow us, like in this case, we go with snowflake, and if we had multiple tables of fact also, we will go with galaxy, and there exist some other tables also. So right now, let's say our data is allowing us to create a snowflake schema. So we will jump and go ahead with creating a snowflake schema for our files.
Okay.
So what I will do is right now, all the files are present in my files, which is the data lake location of my lakehouse. I will need to move all my files to the tables, right? There could be multiple ways. For example, one way could be you just right click on load to table, click on new table, but this will be manual, right? Anytime if you want to, let's say, so by the way, how frequently do you refresh your data? Like when do you leadership check the reports?
So it is mostly the data refresh part, like every morning, but we get the CSV from the core banking systems around 3 a.m. And the leadership, by every morning, as soon as they get started with their emails and all, right, they expect the reports.
Makes sense. So since every 3 a.m., for example, the files are coming, we want them to be refreshed to our tables, for example. If we just go here straightforward, click on load to tables, we will need to come here every 3 a.m. or p.m. in the morning and the evening and click on this button, which is not an efficient way. So typically how we solve this is we create a script, we write a PySpark script, and that can be done within the Fabric also. Again, take 2 to 3 lines of code that can take your files and move them or create a table on top of it. So let's do that only. That will be mimicking
just
the
a
real
follow-up question here. Among this one, right, let's talk from the data ingestion perspective sometime as well. Would you be following some slowly changing dimensions for any of the tables here, or you have assume something like to keep it in a symmetric way, following one single pattern for all the DIMMs?
Perfect question. So typically when we work with the data, when we talk about dimensional data, we try to ask the business only that how do you change or how do you make changes to the past data or the dimensional data, right?
Mhm.
Here, for example, we are expecting that they will push a new row every time they're making a change, right? That
Okay.
could be assumption, but generally we take a decision out of customer. Do you have another column which
Mhm.
takes a flag or not? Do you track everything in a rows or not? So the SCDs typically involves when we talk to customer, they let us know how do they track the business, like how do the
Mhm.
SAP system is tracking the rows, and then based on that we implement the SCD also in the dimensions.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead with creating the notebook, the PySpark notebook, and we will move all the files to the tables. Right,
Okay.
so I will go back to my workspace. Right now, it's having a lakehouse, and there is a SQL analysis endpoint also. It's nothing but a notebook which will let me to use SQL to analyze my data. We are not
Mhm.
doing that right now. I'll skip that, and I will simply try to create a notebook here. So maybe transformation notebook. I'll write it here. And what notebooks let me do is I can write my script. I can choose any language of my type. For example, I can choose Python, I can choose Scala, SQL, T-SQL, and Spark. And then I can do all the transformations, right? So for example, right now I want to move the files. So first thing I will do is I will select where my data source is present.
Okay.
So I will click here and I will select. So since this is the lake house which we just created, which is fintech data lake house,
Mhm.
I will click on connect. This will be connected to my notebook. I can expand just to see if everything is reflecting or not. It takes a couple of minutes also, so maybe I will keep waiting. Okay, maybe I will hard refresh. Just a second. Yes, perfect. So we have all the files here. The task which we want to do is we want to move the files to tables. The typical
Mhm.
process involves you load all the files in a data frame and then you just use spark.write and then you write the mode, maybe some overwrite mode, and then you save them as a table. That's a
Okay.
typical workflow. And what Fabric allows us to do is I don't even need to write the boilerplate code for the ingestion. For example, if I need to save this file as a data frame, I can simply drag it and this
Okay.
gives me the entire Spark code. So I can see
Oh.
it's allowing spark.read.format. It's a CSV, makes sense. Headers should be enabled, and then it's loading the entire file. This is taking the file which is dim account, and everything will be saved in my data frame. Maybe what I can do is I can save it inside. Just a second. This one is accounts, so accounts df, and I will run this, and then just to make sure everything is working fine, I will do account df. Perfect. So my data frame has been loaded. What I will do is I'll do the same exercise for all the files and then we will like mass ingest every file into a table together.
Okay.
I will do this step for the branch also. I will write it branch df. I will do the same thing for customer. This will be my cust df. I will remove the boilerplates. I will do this for the date also. This will be my date table. I'll keep this like there. Same thing for here. Perfect. I will load my products data frame underscore df. And finally, the just a second, transactional data. I will do fact underscore df. I will do this. And everything would have been loaded in a data frame. The next step typically involves translating, doing some transformation on top of data, maybe doing some cleaning also. But right now, let's say for the sake of it, we are assuming that we want to save everything which is in data frame directly into a table. If we want to pursue any transformation, we can do it right here also. Or Power BI also let us do the transformation in the backend as a BI tool.
Okay.
So for the sake of simplicity and saving time, let's assume that we don't want to do transformations here. We will do them in the base systems or the and downstream processes. Here we will simply convert all the saved data frames to the tables.
Okay.
What I will do is I will do for the customer data frame, or maybe I'll start from account. I will write the simple Spark code dot option. Maybe I'll ask it to infer the schema also. Override schema true, and then I will ask this to override table also. So the reason I'm writing the schema is because sometimes it doesn't infer the schema automatically. So if I'm overwriting the schema also, it takes the schema again from the files, and then it's better to do the inferring of the schema instead of doing everything hard coded.
Okay.
So I will overwrite my tables. Right now we don't have any table present, so it won't cause an issue. But since in future, if we want to run the code again, this will save us from getting any error messages in the logs. Then I just need to save as table, and I will do dim customer. Here I need to pass what is the file name or the table name I want to pass. So if I write dim customer here, this file will be saved in my warehouse or a data lake house table as a dim customer. I can choose any name. Typically, it's a best practice that we follow what are the company rules they are preferring, and then we go with that. Right. So this will save my data. So okay, I am seeing one thing, which is if you see here, Shashank, the IDs are saved as strings. Even the balance is saved as strings. So this might cause an issue. Okay. So what we can do is instead of
that's what I said. I mean, the unclean data and all those.
right. This will cause you a lot of problem because you can't like do the summation on top of the data in
Yeah, on
Excel
these
or
string columns, correct. Yeah, a lot of data cleansing needed. Yeah.
Right. So what we can do is there are two options we can do that. Either first we can write a function that we do the data cleaning, or in Spark we get something called infer schema also. It just lets you infer the schema automatically from the output files. So when I was reading the data frames, I have passed just a header detection. I can pass another option which will infer my schema also. This should ideally save me the ton of my data detection effort. So if I do this dot, I will close this here. Infer schema. Let me run this again very quickly. I will keep this just a second. Copied here, and you can see the demo right here if it's working or not. What I will do is just a second, display account df. I will first see how it looks like. See here, everything got changed. The data type is detecting automatically with the help of just one single command, right?
Perfect.
Which is inferring the schema. So I will do the same thing for all the data frames. This will take care of branches, and I will do just a sec. Same thing for my customers. Same thing for my dates. We're left with two. I will do this. This will sort my products. This will sort my fact table. Perfect. Now, if I do this account data frame, save it into a table called dim customer, run this file. Meanwhile, I will replicate this for the others. We have branch, we have cust, account. Just a sec. We have branch, we have cust. This will go in my table as branch. Okay, I think I'll need to override this as account. Maybe I'll do it in one shot. I will save it here. So this will be account. This will be branch. This will be cust. I will do the same thing for date and product. This will be for other tables. Here I can do for products. Here I can do for dates, and here I can do for fact. TF. This will be my names, fact, transactions. This will be my dim date. This will be my dim product. This makes sense, this makes sense, and this makes sense. Now let's run this command, and ideally the table should be created in the table section of my lakehouse. It will take some time to run. Let's see. Cool. So if I come to my tables section, I will refresh this, and perfect. We have the tables present. Now the tables data is present in a structured columnar format, which is a tables in the data lakehouse. And now I can do any downstream process. So since you mentioned that you have to let the leadership know that the data is refreshed at some particular state, and then they come to see your data. The good part about notebooks is you can schedule all these notebooks, right? So if I go back, if I go to my workspace again, so if I go to my project file here, I can click here and click on schedule. If I want to schedule it maybe monthly or weekly, I can simply click here, and let's say I want to refresh it weekly, every Sunday, Monday, any time, any date you can decide. And now you don't need to do anything manually, right? So I can select when do I want to start my process, when do I want to end, supposedly end my process, click on save, and perfect. So this will take your files from the data lakehouse file section, and then it will automatically convert them to tables. And then you can convert or connect these tables to the Power BI as a data model. So you can choose any BI tool to create a data model also. But here, since we are leveraging Fabric or a Microsoft product, let's say we want to create our data model in Power BI. So everything can be connected with a piece of just 1 or 2 clicks, and then you should be good to go. Right? So coming to the main point, creating the actual data model. Till now, we have created just the logical layer. We'll try to replicate the same thing in Power BI, and then we'll see how do we do it also, and what kind of questions do we get there also. Okay. Right. So now we have our raw files present in a lakehouse. We have our notebook, which is using PySpark to convert or transform all the raw files, inferring the schema and moving them back to the tables present in lakehouse. Now let's say we have everything. We have the logical layer also. We will start jumping into creating the actual data model. Right. So what I'll do is I'll simply create a new item, which will be my data model. I think I'll need a space. Yes. So model is called a semantic model in Fabric. What we can do is I'll select first where my data is present, and then I can start creating a data model on top of it. So right now, as we know, our data is present in a one lake. I will select this. I can select my lake house. So once I select my lake house, in real life, we will be having a lot of schemas. We can logically separate all our businesses with the schemas. But here, let's say we just had a simple use case that there is only one schema that typically is loaded into a default schema of a Fabric, which is DBO. So it will create a DBO schema. It will load all the tables in that, and then we can start working on it. So maybe it will take a minute or two. Yeah.
Sure.
Meanwhile, oh, okay, perfect. No worries. It loaded. So maybe I will write Fintech data model. I'll need to select in which workspace I want to create. Let's say we want to have everything in this single workspace. Now coming to the bottom part. we will need to select what are the tables which I want to include in my data model, right? So I want account, I want branch, customer, dim date, product, and transaction. When you work in real life, you can have multiple other tables within a schema also. So depending on the use case, you can select the particular tables which you need. And once, give me a second. Seems to be some issue. I will click again. Perfect. So it will take me to a separate page, which is called data modeling page.
Okay.
Previously, it used to be just a page in Power BI, but now it's available all across the Fabric. So typically what it allows us is it will help us to replicate this entire flow, right? So we have a canvas in the middle. This canvas will let me arrange all the tables. I can zoom out. These are all my tables, all my columns. And now I can start connecting my keys and creating a physical data model. Previously we had just the logical one, right? So for example, we have a, let's say, date table. I'll need to connect my date to my fact. We know the common key. I will simply drag the common keys on top of each other. It will show me what is the common key you're trying to connect to. So from dim date to fact transaction, I want to connect them with the help of dates. I will simply click on create my connection, and then this will create a noodle, and this will again connect my both the tables together, right? It shows me that it's a one-to-many relationship, which means one date in transactional table is having multiple dates in dim tables. Depending on this, whenever we connect two tables, there will be a relationship. It could be one-to-one, one-to-many to many, or one-to-many also, or many-to-one also, right? For example, product, I will connect with the help of product IDs. I will drag this here and simply connect this up. I will connect my branch to the fact with the help of branch IDs. I will click on save. I will connect my account to the fact with the help of account IDs.
Okay.
I will click here. And since we saw that it's going to be a Snowflake schema and dim account, customer will be connected to dim account. So I will take this somewhere here. I will realign my canvas and I will connect this table with the help of IDs here. And perfect. We have the model here. One thing which we have to be very sure is the direction of these arrows, right? So what this direction typically means is where we are going to take the filter, or where will the filtering be happening. Generally, how we create a report or a model is whenever we want to filter the data, we take it from the dim dimension tables, right? So here, for example, if I will take my product ID from this table as a filter, product IDs can filter through this because it allows my direction and it will filter the transaction table.
Correct.
Right? But if we see the dim date here, dim date, if I try to take the date as a filter, it will try to flow to my transaction. It won't flow because the direction of filtering is above, right? So sometimes it does a bad job in guessing the direction of my direction filtering. In those cases, I can simply say that select the both directional filter. Here, if I select the filter, it will flow to the fact also.
Okay.
We have to make sure that this is enabled for all the tables. Otherwise, fact won't be filtered based on the dimension, right? So for example, this is also one of a use case which we see a lot in the Snowflake schemas. For example, if we see this, right? If we see customer, if customer user will select a customer ID will start try to flow from here, but it can't flow to the fact because of this direction. So what we can do is I can take this as both directional filtering. Now, if customer wants to see customer data transaction level, customer ID will flow from here to this table. From this table, customer ID will flow, and these two are connected using accounts. So then the data will flow from here to here. Now, the direction of filtering is almost perfectly configured. This makes our schema to be end-to-end Snowflake structured schema. Now we will jump to solving the actual problem. So Shashank, before moving out to create answering the business question, can I ask what kind of KPIs or answers business generally looks for when they try to get the reports?
Okay, so with respect to KPIs, I mean, our leadership basically ask about the growth, the leakages, and the flow. So these are the common KPIs.
Got it. Got it. So maybe what kind of money is flowing inside the company, what kind of money is
Mhm.
flowing outside the country, company. So that could be present in my fact table. So what I can do is I can very quickly see what kind of data is present in fact. Based on that, we will create the KPIs also. So I will come here. I will simply try to create a table just to see what kind of data is present in my fact table.
Mhm.
I will see my transaction types and cool. So I can see in my accounts amounts we have the money flowing inside the company also, which is positive, and money flowing outside the company also, which is like withdrawal, which is negative. So
Mhm.
to calculate the maybe KPIs for the net flows, inflows, and outflows, we can leverage this column, maybe amount column, right? So for example, if it's a negative, I can call it outflow. If it's a positive, I can call it an inflow, and then I
Mhm.
can create a KPI to do the summation of both of them.
Okay. Okay.
So what we can do is I can simply go back to my model and I will start writing some basic DAX. For example, initially, let's say I want to calculate my inflow. I will write inflow, and here I want to write the formula. DAX is nothing like very complicated. It is very close to transactional English level lines or sentences which we write. For
Mhm.
example, the logic I want to write is if amount is positive, means it's greater than zero, then take the sum of amount, right?
Mhm.
I will
Okay.
translate the same thing in my DAX. Sum x is a formula which helps us to do the summation of all the columns.
Mhm.
Uh, Now I want to filter all the amounts where amount is greater than zero. For example, I will write the filter statement function. I will select my table. Fact transaction is my table. Now I'll need to select which column I want to filter. I want to filter my amount column. It should be greater than zero. If this
Okay.
is greater than zero, I want to take sum of my amount. So I will write, maybe I will write my fact. Give me a second. I think I am not closing the brackets, and I will take the sum of this. Right. So
Mhm.
simply we translated our English sentence that take all the amounts which are positive, do the sum, and call them inflows. Right.
Okay.
If I enter, this will take my inflow as a KPI. I can create a similar KPI for the outflows also. So I will write a new KPI. I will just switch my filtration. If it's a negative, it's outflow. So I will write it as outflow. And then one could be maybe the
And these DAX which you are preparing, where these will be published?
perfect question, Shashank. So right now they are saved in the semantic model. But if
Mhm.
you talk about like are they saved in the tables, the answer is no. They are saved
Okay.
in the RAM. So once the data is loaded, they are created dynamically in the RAM, which is in the Power BI capacity.
Okay. Okay. So will there be any scenarios where these are lost? I mean,
Mhm.
whatever you are creating, the DAX, as you said, right, it will be in the RAM. So just looking for the possibilities where these, I have to maybe recreate this.
Right, right. So Power BI does a good job in retaining and making sure everything which we are writing is retained in the system only. So how it works is Power BI create. So whenever I'm creating these formulas, right, it's not storing any data. It's just saving the definition of my KPI.
Okay.
Whenever I will open my data model, it will run this definition against the table which is in my backend. So
Okay.
unless there is some change made in the backend tables and I lost my amount column, there will be no change or no infection or anything slippage in the KPI section of my
So
data
it's
model.
like every time when we are loading our data model, these will be calculated. Here we are just
Perfect.
defining the definition of these DAX. Okay.
Perfect. You summed it very well.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
All right. So I will simply create my inflows, outflows are created. I will create my net flows. And ideally, if they are created in the backend model, they should reflect in my report also. So
Mhm.
perfect. So now I have all the KPIs present. Now, depending on what kind of insights do we want to show, do we want to show them the aggregated numbers? Do we want to show them the trend of the inflows and outflows? We can create all of them. For example,
So,
these
like
are the
once your DAX is ready, how do you convert it like into the insight? I mean, what sort of questions you will be asking to yourself before giving any insight to the leadership, because there could be 5, 10 different ways to represent the one single information. But what is your metric of deciding that yes, this is the best maybe visualization pattern to show any leader for this particular KPI?
Good question. So, Shashank, what we try to do is, so let's say we have decided there will be 3 KPIs. We decide the number of KPIs, and then we try to create a story around that with the help of a report or dashboard, right? So, how a story flows is, first we will show them the aggregated numbers, and we call them KPIs. That this is the total number your company is performing. Then I'll need to tell them. Let's say I told them. Let's say we can take it a live example here. If I go here and take it here, so we can see our company has an inflow of $230K, right?
Right.
Now, if a company knows this, they will also try to drill down and get to know where is this inflow coming from, right? So typically we start with the big numbers, or we call them KPIs. So for example, we show them the total inflow is 230K and the outflow is 33K. Now I will drill down, I will double tap to show them where is this money going or coming, right? There I will need to choose what KPI or what kind of visualization do I choose. If I want to give them a comparison of, let's say, some categorical information, let's say product information, maybe one product has more inflow than other product. This is a categorical comparison, and we choose bar chart for that. For example, if my company wants to see in which date I lost most money, maybe the outflow, then they are trying to look into the trend of my flow. Then I will choose the line chart of the same.
Okay.
Right? Depending on what problem business is trying to solve, we generally talk to them and try to understand what KPIs do they want to see and in which cuts or grains do they want to analyze the data. Depending on these two questions, we try to generate the insight and the charts also. So for example, let's say they wanted to know the inflows, they wanted for each product, they wanted to know what is the inflow for them, right? What we do is, if I create a bar chart, if I simply go here, I will take the products and I will take the inflows, right? Now, I told you that whenever we do categorical comparison, that if my one category is performing better than other or not, we choose bar chart for that. So here I can simply see that there is a product ID which is 303. I can choose the names also. So for example, let's do names here. So for example, there is a category product called loan, right? This is the biggest category which is making the inflow of money into my account.
Okay.
Right. So maybe they are reimbursing the loan to the other customers. So if it's a categorical comparison, we can choose bar chart. We can also choose pie charts also. But if at the same time they wanted to, let's say they wanted to find the trend that on which date or on which date they lost the most money, there I will choose a line chart. Right. So what I will do is I will simply choose a line chart here. X-axis should be my date. I can choose the dates from my dim table, and here I can see that okay, the analysis has been mostly the trend has been just a flatten, but something happened here. Right? On the May of 23rd, this is the date, 5th May 2023, something happened and my inflow has been increased. Right? Here, for example, I showed them the total inflow outflow. I showed them where they have been categorized, how they categorized. If they further want to see, okay, what was the reason for this, we can also add a more detailed table. For example, I can show them a transactional level data also, that if they want to analyze, let's say what happened here, I can create a table. This table will have a transactional level data. For example, this is representing all this information. And whenever they want to see this, they will click here and they will find that exact transaction, that why this could have been the reason. Right? So they can start with the overall number. They can start seeing the story one level down, and they want to, if they want to grill more detailed level, we can show them the transactional level data. So this tells them the summary also and the reason for why something is happening in the data also.
And what about the KPIs like underperforming branches?
Perfect. So great question. When we decide KPIs, right, it's not a good way to just tell them 230K was the inflow. We generally try to compare it with the numbers or the baselines, right? Maybe there will be a budget that your budget for the inflow was this much, and then you did just 230K. So we generally represent KPI by comparing them either with the targets or with the baseline reference numbers. If there is nothing, we compare them with the last year's also. That hey, this year you did 230K, but last year you did 400K. Then this 230K is lesser, right?
Right.
So that also we include in the KPIs also. And as you said, if let's say here this was a mock data, we had just 3 products. But when we work with real life data, we will have hundreds and hundreds of products. Their customer will say, I don't want to see all the data. Just show me top 5 performing or top worst performing. So there we just create another maybe parameter or an input that select top n. N could be 1, 2, 3, 4. Based on that, I will not show them the entire data dump. I will just show them the respective top 5 or 4 product which they want to see.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, this is how we can go from taking something which is like dumped in a CSV file, maybe present in some blob or a GitHub location, or maybe at a local repository also. Take it, move it to a cloud, move it to Fabric, write a notebook to convert them to a table, create a data model on top of it, write the KPIs, and then we can tell the entire story. And I hope this could be helpful to this could be useful to help your customers to get the insights in a better way.
Yeah, so definitely from the design perspective or the actual pain points we were looking to solve, so definitely it suffice most of the things. And maybe just as a last follow-up question from my side could be any optimization, right? Like, do you like to suggest further optimization you would like to do if you get more time, more clarity on top of the data, more clarity on the business requirement?
Right. Perfect question, Shashank. There is a lot of scope for improvement or performance optimization also as per se in this scope, right? For example, we started with the files, the raw files, and we were seeing that the data types were not inferred correctly, and we just wrote one statement called infer schema 2, right? That ideally generally takes a lot of time for the ingestion. We were working with the smaller files, it doesn't matter, but when we are working with the large blobs files, it takes a lot of time to the processing. So instead of just letting Spark to see some dummy rows and then guessing the schema, we have to write our in-house inbuilt data cleaning, maybe some functions, right? So that could be one scope. That while we're ingesting the files, make sure that you are doing the transformation, the cleaning before loading the data directly into the Power BI data model, right?
Okay.
Other one could be, we can see some columns here, that columns are not incorrect. Maybe the table names also, for example, it's not a best practice to show them underscores to the end user, right? So maybe table names could have been cleaned. Maybe the customer names, the customer IDs, all the column names could have been cleaned. These all comes in that transformation layer. So we could have done a better transformation activities in the notebook if time would have sufficed. Or for example, one of the KPI which we created is inflow, right? And we try to do that if amount is greater than 0, take the sum. Ideally, we wrote this transformation in the model, but we can do the same transformation in the backend table also. And it is the best practice that all the row level calculation should be done in the backstream or the backend process as much as possible, because then it takes less load on the my data model, right? So these KPIs should have been moved to the backend, that should have performed better.
Yeah.
Once we move from there, we try to create the Snowflake schema. If time would have persisted or allowed us, we would have thought of maybe, is there any scope of just merging this customer details directly into DIM account only? Then we would have achieved the perfect star schema. So that could also have been one of the
schema, avoiding one more join operation.
True. Perfectly said. So here we had dummy data, so join was not a problem. But the main con of using Snowflake is, again, joins are very expensive in the last data. So this could have been avoided if we had more time. Then coming to the reporting part, if I go to the report, we could have done better job in creating the KPIs also. Right now we are just showing the plain KPIs. If someone is maybe having more time, they can compare the KPIs with the last year also, and maybe creating some parameters to find some top products, the bottom products. Like improve the speed also, there can be multiple parameters. For example, when we were triggering the refresh of a notebook, we simply said that refresh every time, maybe 5 p.m. But there's something called incremental refresh also.
Yeah, incremental one,
right?
For large volume data. Yeah.
Perfect. So instead of refreshing everything, we can just take the last final step of my data and refresh that, and then we haven't implemented SCD also in our case, right? So we're assuming that there will be a new entry in my rules. So maybe we can have better job in talking to the business and understanding what kind of SCD they want to implement, and then we could have implemented that also in the notebook. So these are the few of the optimization techniques we could have applied in this entire problem statement.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, perfect. I think this closely resembles what we were looking for, and the optimization sounds good. So, but whatever our time permitted, based on that one, looks like a good solution to move ahead. So, yeah, I guess that is pretty much I had to ask Sahil regarding this practical question. So, yeah, I mean, whatever is the feedback for the next round, I will just let the HR know for the same and she'll get back to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Shashank. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. So that is pretty much I had for all of you in this amazing mock interview session. I'm pretty sure you have enjoyed this whole discussion with Sahil, like how someone should approach the data warehouse and modeling design related interview question, how to solve it end to end. As I said, if you find it informative, make sure to give a like in the big numbers. Let me know in the comment section which mock interview session you want me to bring next. I will definitely create a video for that. And don't forget to enroll in the data warehouse and modeling bootcamp basic to advanced. The live classes starting from the 22nd of November, and you will be getting everything at one single place at a very affordable price to prepare for your product based company interviews. So link in the description, or visit www.growdataskills.com to enroll really fast, because limited seats are there. And if you have any doubt or any query you want to discuss with me directly, this is the WhatsApp number or the calling number. You can always reach out and we can discuss.